In a village where fathers were honored like kings, where their words were never questioned, there lived a man who broke a sacred bond, a bond no one dared to speak of. And when the truth rose, it did not just destroy a family, it changed an entire village. The sun rested gently over a quiet African village, bathing the land in warm golden light. At the center stood Baba Kofi, a man respected, feared, and obeyed. Beside him stood his son, Ade, young, hopeful, and his wife, Zola, gentle and devoted. They looked like a family built on trust. Behind them, an ancient tree stretched into the sky, silent, watching. Not long after, Ade left the village in search of a better life. He left his home, his wife, and his trust in his father. The nights grew quiet, too quiet. Inside the house, under the cold glow of the moon, Zola stood alone, until Baba Kofi began to draw closer, too close. His presence filled the room, his shadow stretched toward her. No words were spoken, no struggle was seen, only silence. A silence so deep it marked the moment everything was broken. Days passed. Zola carried more than fear. She carried a burden. Her body began to change, and the village began to notice. In the pale light of morning, she stood alone, one hand resting on her belly, while whispers moved around her like wind. Women glanced, leaned toward each other, and spoke in hushed tones. No one stood with her, and the man responsible? He stood tall, unaffected, unmoved. With nowhere left to turn, Zola walked to the edge of the village, to the ancient tree, a tree said to have seen everything and forgotten nothing. She knelt beneath it, one hand on her belly, the other pressed against its bark. Her voice trembled. "If there is truth, let it be known." The wind stirred, the leaves whispered, the tree seemed to breathe, as if something unseen had heard her. Days later, Ade returned. His heart was full, until he saw her. He stopped. Zola stood before him, changed. Her eyes lowered. Her silence spoke louder than words. Behind them, Baba Kofi watched, still, calm, unshaken. In that moment, joy turned into doubt. The village gathered beneath the harsh light of midday. Elders sat in a circle of judgment. Ade stood before them, his voice heavy with pain. Zola stood beside him, her head lowered. And Baba Kofi stood tall, firm, unbending. His presence alone silenced many. The air was heavy, waiting. Then suddenly, the wind returned, stronger, wilder. Dust rose from the ground, leaves spiraled through the air. The sky darkened. In the distance, the ancient tree shook violently. Zola fell to her knees. Ade stood frozen. And for the first time, Baba Kofi's face changed. The calm disappeared. Fear took its place. Light broke through the sky, and in that moment, the truth could no longer hide. Silence followed. The man who once stood above all now stood exposed before all. No power remained, only truth. As evening fell, Baba Kofi walked away from the village, alone. No one followed, no one spoke. Behind him stood everything he had lost, his son, his home, his honor. Before him, only an empty path. But the story did not end there, because some actions leave shadows. Morning came again, but the village was no longer the same. The air felt heavier. Ade stood beside Zola, yet something between them had changed. Around them, people spoke less, trusted less. Even the laughter of children felt distant. and in the distance the ancient tree stood still, watching, remembering. And so this story is told not to entertain you, but to remind you, because what happened in that village can happen anywhere, where power is abused and silence is allowed to grow. Moral lesson: no man is above what is right. No title, no age, no authority can hide the truth forever, because what is done in darkness, what is hidden in silence, will always find its way into the light. And when it does not just destroy one life, it leaves a mark on everyone.